You ready to record for episode 36 of the Counter-Strike Casual podcast? Oh, thank you so much.
And I've got an extra special tipple today.
What's that? What are you drinking there?
The wife made me a nice G&T for your birthday, mate.
Lovely, thank you very much. Yeah, birthday tomorrow, so this is the
probably
podcast.
Today, if people are listening.
Yep, probably. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
What is it now, mate? 21 again.
21, what, years old?
Yeah.
Mate, I wish. I can hear you breathing quite heavily through your mic, by the way. We talk about sound and audio before this podcast, but you're like Darth Vadering into the mic about my birthday. Well, appreciate what better. Well, I said, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, do you know what? Just let me record an episode of the Counter-Strike Casuals podcast, and here we are. Sick. Right, let's get into it. There's loads to talk about. Let's just crack on. Let's do it. Back of last week, we were at the tail end of the RMR Group A's, so you know that kind of concluded. The big news from that, I think, is the fallout from that more than actually the results, which is the Falcons and the NIP news, and in particular them guys not making the major at all, which is, I don't think it's surprising that NIP aren't there based on how they've been recently, but I'm very surprised at Falcons not being there. I expected them at least to qualify. I don't know how you felt, and I think, you know, considering, I don't know. I think I watched. How did I watch? You might have watched the FaZe game, and they struggled, but it was FaZe, so it's like, okay, well, I kind of expected this to happen, but they lost to S1MPLE, Eternal Fire looking fire at the moment, so that's not too much of a shock. But yeah, Falcons are not going to be at the major, which is the world's most expensive test run at trying to get to a major.
Well, they've kind of replied to that, haven't they?
So it's so weird because I've just gone on their HLTV page and fucking S1MPLE's staring at me.
Yeah, that is weird, mate. I mean, I wasn't really expecting him back so soon.
You reckon when they said to Boros, they're like, oh, you know, we're benching you, and you're just like, what? You know, why? And then it's like, well, S1MPLE's gonna step in for a month just to try and steady the ship. You'd just be like, what can you actually say if someone replaces you with S1MPLE?
Yeah,
you just go, all right, cool.
To me, it kind of says,
I'll leave my mouse, he can use my mouse.
Everything they said when they made Falcons and they did that interview, HLTV, with Zonic and the owner of Falcons, they were like, you know, we've got a 5-year plan and we've not got really high expectations, blah blah blah. I think, other than late, they've been playing pretty well. Like, they've won decent games and they have done all right. And they just had a hiccup over the past 2 tournaments.
Well, Katowice wasn't a bad run for them. Where did they get to in Katowice? Katowice were like semis or quarters. Let's just check. Sorry, semis. Yeah, they lost to Spirit. That's not a bad run for their first big tournament.
Okay, so I think considering all that chat about not having super high expectations and whatnot is a little bit fake when they've been together a few months now.
Yeah, but I also think it's not. They had a good run at Kata, right? So that should be classed as a success considering the short amount of time they've had. It all just comes down to the major, doesn't it? Like, it's just so devastating not qualifying for a major because of the money that you get back. So I guess it's embarrassing. I mean, Zonic not being at a major is just like disappointing and not good. So I guess when that happens, you're just like, we've got to do something drastic. Getting S1MPLE in is drastic. I've been intrigued to see how S1MPLE does play with the likes of Snappy, and it's going to be really cool to see him with Zonic, definitely. I mean, Zonic, S1MPLE, that I'm excited to watch S1MPLE again. I mean, I've been a renowned S1MPLE, not hater. I don't know if hate is the right word, but like a critic, I would say, of his attitude and the way he just treats his teammates and stuff. But I actually think he could come into this. He's got a month loan, so he's not got pressure. It's not like he's stuck at Falcons forever, he might feel like, which I think in Navi he started to feel like he was just stuck there and having to...
Go on. How do you think this deal went down? Do you think it was Simple asked for it? Do you think Falcons asked Navi for it? Do you think Navi just went for it? Do you think Simple had much of a say?
Simple had much of a say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think he was probably talking to them, and mate, who knows? All I know is they probably had. I reckon if they didn't qualify for majors, if they didn't qualify for IMARS, they're probably thinking we need to make a change. It's going to be Boros, most likely. That's what everyone's been talking about. I feel like sometimes when the community in Counter Strike talk I feel like we sometimes talk stuff into existence. And everyone was talking about Boros being replaced, so it was going to be him. And they probably just thought, if we don't qualify, we've got to do something big, even if it's short term. Mate, who's available? JK, who's available big enough for like us, like JK, Simple? Who else is actually available? Dupree? No, he's gone to Preezy. Imagine you got Dupree, that'd be jokes. I don't know. So I couldn't call when or how that came about, but it's a hell of a short-term loan and probably one of the best short-term loans in any event, any sport ever, even football or anything like that. It's just like,
how would you be working it as a coach? Like, would you have some players still open, or would you double up when you've got the opportunity? Would you?
I think you've got to have some. Personally, I think some players will AWP. They might double up on some maps, some particular, maybe like an overpass or something. I don't know, but not frequently. And I think Simple will rifle. I actually don't know how well Simple's been playing in Face It or anything. I've not actually kept up at all with Simple, so I don't know how he's doing at CS2. I don't know if there's going to be concern there because some of the transition over to CS2 has been a bit strange for some people, right? So who knows? But I think he can play without real stress, or I don't think there's much pressure on him, if that's weird, because I don't know, I just feel like he's been away. Yeah, I'm here for a month. I can just try some things, see how it fits in, and I think it's going to be exciting. Like, I'm actually really excited to see this team. Like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, me too. Personally, I don't put too much pressure on him, and I don't think Falcons will. I think Falcons are going to stress that there's not loads of pressure on him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they've probably paid a lot of money for him. There is a lot of pressure. I think he'll put a lot of pressure on himself. I think he liked being the best player in the world. I think he rates himself quite highly. Rightly so. Like, this is a negative, on him, but I don't think he's gonna perform too well, to be honest.
Okay.
But I hope he does. Like, I would love to see Simple back playing really well, and then I feel like if he's playing really well, we could have 3 top teams, possibly 4 if FaZe sort it out, fighting for that top spot, and that'd be amazing. Like Vitality, Spirit, and Falcons.
Well, he's going to be playing at the event they've got him for is the Blast Showdown, right? Which is the next event, which is in March, and the teams there is going to be Spirit, Cloud9, Monty, Complexity, Heroic, Liquid. They're probably the big teams is going to be against. So we could see a Simple Donk match there, which would be good. And it would be really interesting to see him against Cloud9 as well, I think, just because of the kind of discussions around him joining them and him saying outright no chance. So yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time to bring him in. And again, just for one tournament, I just feel like it's just going to be like...
Is he there for one tournament or 1 year?
Well, 1 month. 1 month is the loan. It's a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's all it is. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, what's the pressure here? It's like, you've lost Boros, someone that looked like he was out of place in that team, which... Again, I also don't think with Boros, it's a situation where he particularly was... It's like his fault as well. I mean, he's coming into a team where the core is already Ents, right? Snappy, Madden, and Sampires are already Ents, and like, that's what they are. With Magisk and Zonic, who are Vitality / Astralis core, and Danish, with Snappy who's Danish, those guys minus Boros. So without Boros, you would feel, I think, a bit like the odd one out. Do you know what I mean? You would feel a bit like I don't have much of a connection to these boys. I haven't got maybe too much in common. I haven't had much history playing with them culturally, maybe. Again, I'm just like spitballing or making assumptions here, but I can understand why he looked a bit out of place, which he did.
Yeah,
and
I
think
agree.
and I think with Simple, it's simple, man. He's just gonna come in and he's gonna do some mad shit, and I don't know, I'm really intrigued to see it, and I'm excited about it.
To be honest, do you know what? I feel like everyone's going to be happy with this move. I feel like Simple's not going to be as toxic because he's on a new team. Whereas when he was on Navi, I think he felt a bit like it's my team. He probably
Oh shit,
was.
here we go again. That's what I think he probably
It,
thought.
yeah, but it was probably also a little bit like people being in his house, and he felt like he could be moody, and he felt like he could be a little bit toxic. Whereas him joining a new team, he's probably not going to be like as negative attitude wise. And again, I don't mean this like in a bad way towards him. I just think that's probably fairly common. Like it's just his personality. He was probably a little bit negative to people when they were playing shit on Navi because he's been at Navi, you know, at their best, and they were fucking sick. And he probably was so comfortable being there. He felt like he could be a little bit moody. Like sometimes you might be moody with your own family and those that are closest to you than you are with people you're not that close to. So hopefully, when he joins a new team, they're not. He's not too toxic, and I don't think he would be, to be honest, especially with Zonic and Snappy there.
Well, time will tell. We'll see soon. So very exciting. Disappointing it that they're not at the major, but you know, shit happens, doesn't it? The other team that failed at the RMR Group A was NIP, Ninjas in Pajamas, which is not that surprising because they've just been shit. And so funny because obviously they put out, it was only 10 days ago or something that they put out their article where the guy, their manager or whoever it was, Geezer at the top was just like, oh, we want to be like the best team by 2025. It's like, and you don't qualify for the first tier CS2 major. So I guess again, like Falcons, they were probably saying behind the scenes, if we don't qualify for the major, we've got to make some drastic changes. So they put Esatag, Config, and Head Trick on the transfer list / bench. I think the biggest casualty here is Head Trick, who's actually a decent player. I don't know about the rest as much, but Head Trick someone should pick up. Be interesting to see, but other than that, I don't have too much to. I've not watched much NIP, to be fair. I must admit they're one of the teams that I seem to miss or not get. Yeah, I just don't watch too much of them.
This team, like these players that have all left, I think have roles on other teams, but that I think NIP are right for getting rid of them. They don't work together, but they still have a place in tier one, like the lower part of tier one. Like you said with Head Trick, I used to rate Head Trick. To be honest, most of their team, apart from Alex, you know, are kind of rated, and I've seen them play, and they've had some great moments. But like I say, I think maybe on a different team they might perform better. Like with Head Trick, you just mentioned, I thought he was going to be this young, up and coming AWPer, and it's not really worked out for him. And yeah, I feel like it's just not the right team. It's just, I think they're right to shake it up. I think they're a little bit stale.
Yeah, well, interested to see who they bring in, but you know, I don't know. There's been loads of chat in all other podcasts and whatever about the state of Counter-Strike at the moment, and almost like a sense of like flux or like, you know, ever-changing tide with the teams and stuff. And it does feel like that. It feels quite unsettled, doesn't it? Like there's no real consistency or longevity in any of these teams at the moment, and it'd be good once that does kind of fall into place a bit more. So
there's not a lot of patience, is there? Like I think with Falcons, after what they said, you know, they made out like they were going to be really patient, but Yeah, but like you say, might have been other things as well, not just that. Um, but yeah, um, we've moved on from the Group A.
Yeah.
Let's hit Group RMR B.
So I haven't watched much of this. I've been busy, and it started yesterday. I've been trying to keep up with results, but life. Um,
Why are you busy, man?
yeah, no,
You had a
life.
new baby or what?
Yeah, exactly. Don't they on it? The funny thing is, we had a comment. I don't know if I think I told you this. We've got to be careful when we bang on about the same thing too much because we had a comment on Spotify and someone just put, "Are you guys going to Blast London by any chance?" Because I think that's all we just kept saying. So it's some sarcastic fuck saying that. So we should be careful.
uh, I rate it. Right. So what's been going on in these RMRs? The biggest news for me um, is kind of split between Vitality and Spirit.
Okay.
Donk is actually human. We've found out they absolutely rolled Ents in their first game.
Yeah, and
13.
Donk turned up as usual, and
Donk
just
rating was 2.41.
it's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go
And
into this first game with no let off from Katowice and just thinking,
yeah,
kids
he's
going
still
mad.
rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. And then Astralis, they beat 13-11.
So they beat Astralis. Donk didn't have the game of his life. Donk didn't have a Donk game and just played.
He rated below 2. He rated below 1. He was rated 0.95, and in anyone's eyes, that's a really bad game for Donk.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I think okay, this is where it's just so dangerous, isn't it? Because the poor lad has set such a high standard that a best of one against Astralis, like who
Astralis have been playing well.
playing well, and just the name in itself, like whatever. A 17-year-old lad who's just had his first. If you actually put it into context, 17-year-old lad who's just had his first big LAN tournament, playing in a qualifiers for the first major, so first ever, the biggest competition in Counter Strike. So this guy's career at 17, and he has a best of one against Astralis, the most majors ever, or one of whatever it is, and he drops 0.95. If you take all other results out of Donk's catalogue and you said you're going to be 17, you're going to play Astralis, you're going to win, you're going to beat Astralis in the qualifiers, and you're going to post just under 1. So you're going to post just under 1. Bear in mind, you're going to end up with a better score than Device. Device was bottom. You'd go, that's pretty good, isn't it? Like, I take that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's because of everything that's happened. We're like, where the fuck's Donk? What's Donk doing? Yeah. That's insane, isn't it? It's actually mad. Perception of expectations, and why I feel like I'm quite hype on this is because of football, soccer, whatever. Because of my team, iSport, where we're at, where we, again, just a side chat, we got promoted to the league we're in now, and we actually started pushing to go to the Premier League, and we're like second or third in our first season back in that league. And we've started to tail off a bit now, and everyone's looking at each other going, this is shit. But if you'd said at the start of the season, you're going to like win 5 games, you'd be like, that's sick, that's brilliant. So now we're like, Donk, if you don't hit 2.4...
Yeah, we're getting ready.
Yeah, you should bench him. Bench him and bring Simple in.
Yeah.
Anyway,
then they went on and just recently, like, I was watching it. They lost to Mouse.
That was like an hour ago, yeah.
And again, Donk didn't play amazing, but I say this all the time. Everyone has bad games on CS. You can just be in bad positions, and luck just doesn't go your way. And I felt like it was a little bit like that for Donk, and also Mouse were looking really good. And Shuei, I'm still saying he's one of the best in-game leaders, and he needs more respect, to be honest. I think everyone gives it Carrigan, Huxley, fucking, what's his name?
Apex.
Yeah, the guy who fucking won in-game leader of the year. But no mention Shuey. Apex has Zywoo and everybody else on his team. Like, he's just stacked. Carrigan has a stacked phase team. Huxley has Monacy and Nico. Shui really doesn't have any
Shui has
big
Brolin.
names.
No, but Shui
Yeah.
has Jim Fat, man. Yeah, Jimmy's sick.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim Fat is sick. So, yeah, he needs more respect, man. For them to beat Spirit, they beat him 2-0 as well. Like, let's just put that out there. And I think they dealt with Donk really well. They were playing well as a team. So Mouse played really well. Need a lot of respect for them.
I'm
And
gonna try and watch the
Spirit are
highlights of
huge.
that game. That's the one game that I wanted to watch, so I'm gonna try and stick it out.
And what about standout teams for you?
Well, I mean, I would say Mouse just off the back of that kind of result. I just before we go into that, I was just gonna say that so Spirit play Heroic tomorrow, right? Who they've had a bit of an up and down time. Best of three. How do you see that going? Because I think Donk's gonna. Well, Nertz is playing really well at the moment. Nertz looks like, and I've said this before. Go back a couple of podcasts. Out of the Ents moves and all this roster changes with Heroic Astralis Ents shit, where everyone stabby whatever. Nertz has been the casualty in that. He's too good to be at Heroic, in my opinion. Nertz. They must be paying him fucking pretty penny. He must have a sick contract because why on earth has he gone to Heroic when they've lost their best players? It's just fucking bizarre to me. And I think he needs to get out of there, in my opinion, before it's too late. Honestly, I don't think it's good. They're playing a bit better at the moment, Heroic, and they're not awful, but they're not going to do anything. They're not going to win anything. They're not going to be doing mad deep runs. They're just gonna they're almost going to be as consistent as they were when they had their full team, which was consistent finalists or top 3 but never actually win anything. But they're going to be even worse than that and consistent like 11th or 12th in the year in the rankings. That's what they're going to do. But they'll be really consistently good at that. That's what they'll do.
Well, right. Let's be honest. Could you?
So I'm calling it, by the way. Sorry, Donk's gonna have a stonker against them tomorrow, and he'll post 2.1 rating, and everyone's gonna go, "Yeah, Donk's sick."
Right. Okay. So back to your point with Heroic. So let's say, right, you can't touch Vitality, you can't touch FaZe, you can't touch Spirit, you can't touch Falcons.
Why couldn't he have gone to Falcons with his gang?
No, but I guess money. I guess
it just sounds simple for a month. They're probably fucking paying him like.
So, if you can't touch those teams, are you making a team that's gonna be beating them?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Those top 4 or 5 teams, if you can't recruit any of their players, can you put a team together with the rest of the shambles players? Could you put a team together that would be the best
beat
team
those
in the world?
guys? Off the top of my head right now on the spot, no, but I can have a think about that.
I'd include G2. I don't think you could, and the point I'm trying to make is not everybody can be the best team in the world, and sometimes people like Nerds, these amazing players, do get kind of lost in the teams, and don't get the credit they deserve. Maybe because he probably is expensive. Like, he's a fucking sick player, and I imagine Heroic paid a hefty amount for him. I think Heroic are doing pretty well. He's better staying with Heroic and maybe getting another 1 or 2 decent players, but they've not actually been bad. Just looking at their results, they lost to Astralis. No, they beat Astralis. Sorry,
they beat Astralis. I think they were losing at some point. When I checked the score today, at some point I thought they were losing. Maybe I misread it, but
that's a good fucking win. They lost to Vitality.
They were never losing. They
beat Freezy. They got beat by G2. They beat Gamer Legion. They beat Vitality. They lost to G2. They beat Big. They beat Astralis. They lost to Big and they lost to Cloud9. They've been okay. Like, I think they've been pretty good. they've had some tough games, and they've actually beat Astralis like a couple of times. Then they beat Vitality. Like back in
They love beating Australis. That's what they fucking live for at the moment.
yeah. So I don't think they're doing too bad. And what more do you want from Nerds? Do you know what I mean? Like
No, he's quality. I just think he's wasted. It's just fucking bollocks. Like,
I hear you as
why
well,
couldn't he have
but
gone? Okay, again, money is definitely massively to play. Fine, I get that. Park that for a minute because we have no transparency on money in this scene or in this community, and that's half the issue. If we actually had more transparency on understanding how much people get paid and roughly how much these organisations make or whatever, we could maybe actually start to comprehend and understand these moves rather than just comment on them flippantly and moan about them. But unfortunately, this is where we are. So, why couldn't you have gone to Mouse instead of Brolin when Frozen left? I'd imagine fucking Mouse with Nerds in it instead of Brolin. For fucking quality, wouldn't it? They'd be challenging then. Like,
yeah, I think Mouse are fairly sensible with the money.
But this is what I mean. So fine, but the money situation is the main argument. But again, I don't have transparency on how much people get paid to know. Anyway, that was my comment. Is that I think tomorrow Spirit will beat them comfortably. It's best of 3. I think it will be 2-1, 2-1. I'm not going to say it's 2-0, but I think it'll be 2-1. But I think Spirit will still look comfortable in it.
Go on, put your money where your mouth is. Say 2-0.
All right, fine.
Go on.
2-0. They're going to 2-0. Spirit will 2-0 heroic, and Donk will be MVP of that match series.
Well, I'm not fucking taking any money off you for that bet because, yeah, I would agree. I mean, no, if someone's saying, yeah, Donk's going to be the best player in a match, any match against anyone, I'll be like, yeah, well done.
Yeah, but after today's, people are probably calling it, like I say, calling for him to be benched after today's mid-table performance. So, the other teams, so Cloud9, so Mouse and Cloud9 are the only 2 teams to qualify. So far, so they're definitely in the major, which is great. I'm glad those 2 teams are in there. Cloud9 did it without an AWPer. Woo. And they beat Pera, the not cheaters but cheaters, which they just got battered. They beat Apex a bit tighter. Mate, Apex are looking like that kind of team that just give everyone problems nowadays. It feels like I like their vibe at the moment. And then they obviously beat Vitality in the best of 3. So, I mean,
that's something we need to talk about. Vitality.
Well, actually, maybe that's the game I watch in my limited time I have now in life. Maybe that's the game, which is probably a better game than Spirit thing.
I started to watch Cloud9 Vitality earlier, of their first map, Overpass, and Cloud9 just looked really, really on it. Do you know when like you get a player and he's in a flow state and he's just like hitting everything and he's just like playing out his mind?
Of course, I'm often in that state.
Yeah, the whole of Cloud9 looked like they were playing like that. Like they looked on it and they looked hungry for it as well.
Nice.
Fair play, man. Vitality are also looking human, a bit like Spirit, and I'm here for it, man. I want to see. I want it to be competitive. I don't just want Vitality to walk it, or even Spirit for that matter.
I think these results are showing. Do you know what I find in CS2? There's a lot more like stompings. Does that make sense? Like there's a lot more. Spirit beat Ents 13-0 again. Like there's loads more of that, or like 2 or 3 rounds won by the other team. And I don't know if that's just the shorter rounds, the RMRs, MR, whatever, not having the MR.
Mate, it's funny you say what you're saying about Apex. They're the highest rated team. Granted, they've only played 3 maps, but yeah, the highest rated team so far in the RMRs. Zywoo is top rated player. He's not getting knocked off his throne anytime soon.
Right. Okay. So basically, who do we actually think is gonna?
I feel like we do this every episode. Do you think we should wait till the RMRs are over and then we say who we think
Not who we think's going to win the major, or you talking about who's going to go through?
Okay. Oh, you're talking about who's going to go through?
Yeah, who do you think's just like so?
Well, I think Mouse are going to go through, and I think Cloud9 are going to go through.
Do you know what? Let's put some money on that.
Right. So, how many more?
Well, Vitality
One,
can go.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Vitality's can go through tomorrow if they beat. Well, Vitality or Ents could go through if they win. Who else can go through?
Heroic. Ecstatic.
Spirit or Heroic. Yeah, it depends on that game.
Apex.
So tomorrow, I reckon, yeah, Vitality and Spirit go through. Apex or Spirit. I can Apex go through.
Spirit have got Heroic, so you're saying they're going to go through because you said they're going to win.
Yeah, Spirit, Vitality, and Apex, I reckon, go through. I mean, that maybe this isn't a good discussion. So that they feel pretty safe shouts, don't they?
Yeah, Spirit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you think Ecstatic? Maybe.
Sorry, wife just came in to ask me a question, which I don't know what it. She knows I'm recording, but yeah. I don't know what she asked me. I just said yeah.
Ecstatic are playing Apex, so that's the one. Who's winning that?
Apex.
Apex.
Yeah. Especially the way they've been going.
Yeah, Ecstatic. Who've they played? They're 2-1. So they beat OG and lost to Mouse and beat Monty. So yeah, they're not lighting the world on fire, are they?
No.
Yeah, so Apex could go through. Apex, Spirit, Heroic. Don't know about Heroic.
All right. Well, look, lots of RMRs going on. I'll just text my wife to see what she wants. Sorry, it's not ideal, is it? I mean,
well, to be honest, mate, I think I can let you go now because we've touched on everything I wanted to touch on. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, the only thing I'd say is I think there were some further changes to Counter-Strike. I've had a few games, late night games on my own. Played one yesterday standing up. I don't know if you've ever played.
You're fucking mad.
What?
No, I don't would play. I just wouldn't play.
I'd love to hear anyone that listens to this podcast.
What situation? Why were you standing up? I don't understand that situation.
Because what I've got, right? Anyone that listens to this podcast now, let's open this discussion out a bit. Anyone that actually listens to this podcast, and I want to hear from you. Is there anyone out there? Anyone? Hello. If you listen. What weird situations have you played Counter-Strike in, or at least tried to play Counter-Strike in? So at the moment...
Oh, mate, now you're opening the gates now.
Yeah, well, at the moment, I have, in my living room, set up... So basically, long story short, at night, I look after my youngest daughter, because she's only 4 weeks old, where I basically have to watch her from like 9 p.m. till midnight, and then my wife takes over so I can sleep. When that happens, she's 4 weeks old, so she sleeps a lot, right? She doesn't sleep pretty much the whole of that time, but you just need to be like on call or ready to go if she does wake up. So what I've been doing is I've been playing competitive, but I've been doing it standing up. I've got a laptop on a stand, and then I have my daughter in like a little basket next to me. Why am I doing it standing up? Because I'm doing a lot of sitting down during the days at the moment. I'm doing a lot of driving. I'm not really doing much. I'm not doing much exercise. I've not played as much football as I would usually. So I'm like, I need to stand up. And I don't know. I've just been playing stood up on my laptop. And yesterday it was quite good. And what I found was I was concentrating quite hard because I was stood up. But yeah, I played a lot of Counter-Strike late night on my own. I'm playing a lot of competitive. The game feels alright. It still doesn't feel perfect. It still feels a bit weird. Yeah. I want some new maps. That's what I want. I want train. I want cash.
Cash get leaked, or was that a troll?
No. That was not a troll. The guy that made cash basically leaked some mid shots, which it actually looked. It did look good, but I actually thought it looked quite busy. But I guess it's going to because it's CS2 and it needs to look not. Cash always was quite open and free, and this looked quite congested. But I guess, like I said, modern day. It's 2024 CS2. We've got to be all texturized and busy. But I love Cash. Love Cash to come back. But yeah, ready for some new maps now. Don't know if anyone else is out there. I'd love to hear your weird ways or weird situations you played Counter-Strike. I played on my kitchen table the other day with my daughter asleep next to me. That was shit. Played awful. What I'm realising on a laptop is it's really hard because of the screen size and just the general kind of comfort level. It's really hard to get like long range headshots.
Yeah, you play pretty well on a laptop. I don't know.
You have to. Well,
able to do it.
You have to wait. You have to play close range on a laptop. I think that's what I've realised. I've given up trying to take too much like mid to long range shots, and I don't play.
So you've always got a shotgun.
Yeah, so I'm playing a lot of shotgun and MP9 and Matt said, just like get close, spray them down. But yeah, I'd like to hear if anyone has weird situations they play in. The other thing is that I challenged my friend to 1v1, didn't I? You know, ambitions. If you're listening, I still challenge you to that. Do you know what?
He's in the Discord,
mate. I'm feeling a bit lively after a few birthday liveness. Anyone listening? If you want to have a 1v1, okay, I'll do this.
Yes.
Let's actually see who's listening. 1v1, me. If you win, I'll buy you a £10 skin. 10 English pound skin. So whatever currency you're in, equivalent.
And if you lose?
If you lose, you got to buy me a £10 skin.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, that feels like unfair for them. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think you just buy them a skin if they beat you.
Alright, fine. If they beat me, I'll buy them a skin. I don't even know why I'm backing myself, so I'm so average.
It's like a giveaway. You're not.
Yeah, it's like a giveaway.
It's a giveaway, but they have to earn it.
I tell you what. Yeah, let's do it. I'll do it, and if...
What are you saying? Comment.
Comment,
right.
Whatever. Tweet us, Instagram us, YouTube us, whatever you want to do. £10 skin if you beat me in a 1v1. We'll record it as well. We'll make some content out of it, so we'll record it. I'm happy to do that if you're happy to be recorded as well and post it on our YouTube. And you could beat me and have a £10 skin. Roll up, everyone. Let's get it.
Oh,
yeah, man. It. Don't spend all at once. What can you get for £10 skin? Get like a nothing.
Yeah, probably not loads.
All right. Well, let's wrap up and call it a day there. I'm gonna try watch some of these games back and watch the games tomorrow. Spirit Heroic probably the one to watch out for me and Vitality. So that'd be good. All right, man. Anything else you want to talk about or touch on?
No, man. I'm all good. Right. You have a good birthday as well, mate, tomorrow.
Appreciate that, guys. Chin chin. Thank you. GG. Come challenge me. £10 skin up for grabs. Fucking let's go. GG.